Heybike Alpha and the Ranger S are both fat tire electric bikes packed with features, yet they deliver distinctly different riding experiences. The Alpha is Heybike's venture into mid-drive motors, boasting a 500-watt mid-mounted drive that works through the bike's crankset, whereas the Ranger S relies on a 1,000-watt rear hub motor for its impressive power. On paper, the Ranger S showcases nearly double the nominal wattage, but real-world use shows that raw specs don't tell the whole story. From city streets to dirt trails, each bike shines in certain areas. The Alpha emphasizes smooth, natural pedal-assisted riding and uphill torque, while the Ranger S offers exhilarating throttle power and foldable convenience. This review breaks down every aspect of these two models: motor performance, speed, battery life, comfort, handling, and reliability, blending spec comparisons with insights gleaned from my ride tests and putting these e-bikes through their paces in everyday conditions. The Ranger S1000 is immediately recognizable as a compact folding step-through e-bike. With 20-inch fat tires, its folding frame adds practical convenience. You can collapse the bike for storage or transport, though at 72 pounds, it's far from lightweight. Well, in fact, I find it heavy for a folder, and lifting it into a car trunk can be a two-person job. There's no latch to hold the folded frame together, a minor annoyance when hauling it around. On the upside, the Ranger S feels solid and well-constructed. Its step-through design and adjustable seat accommodate riders from about 4 feet 11 inches up to 6 feet 3 inches comfortably. The build quality inspires confidence off-road too. The rigid frame and fat tires can handle bumpy park trails without rattling or flexing unduly. Fit and finish are utilitarian but durable, with clean welds and a tough paint job available in several vibrant colors. The bike comes in options like Merlot Red, Stone Blue, Metallic Sand, etc., whereas the Alpha is limited to black or white. In contrast, the Heybike Alpha is a larger all-terrain e-bike built on a non-folding frame. It rolls on 26-inch fat tires, giving it a more traditional mountain bike stance than the squat Ranger S. The Alpha's frame is also available in a step-through version for easier mounting, but either way, it's a big bike. About 6.7 inches longer in wheelbase than the Ranger, with a higher handlebar and a beefy down tube housing the battery. At 72 pounds, the Alpha weighs about the same as the Ranger SRs, but because it doesn't fold, it's less compact when storing. This heft contributes to a very planted feel on the road. The Alpha is stable and confidence-inspiring, if a bit cumbersome to lift. The overall build exudes a higher-end vibe. The Alpha features refined touchpoints like an upgraded color LCD display and sleeker control buttons, which make it look more polished next to the Ranger's more basic LCD and controls. Both bikes come well equipped with accessories included. You get full fenders, a sturdy rear cargo rack, bright integrated LED headlight and tail light with brake light function, and even turn signals built into the lighting system. These thoughtful extras enhance safety and utility on both models. The Alpha and Ranger S also share an aluminum alloy frame construction with a 400-pound maximum payload, so either can handle a heavy rider plus gear. Where the Alpha's design truly diverges is in its lack of portability. It's a bike that expects to be ridden to your destination rather than folded into a trunk, but it makes up for that with a robust one-piece frame that some riders feel offers a more secure ride over rough terrain. The core difference between these two e-bikes is their motor system. The Heybike Alpha's 500-watt mid-drive motor is mounted at the pedals driving the chain, whereas the Ranger S's 1,000-watt hub motor sits in the rear wheel. In practice, the Alpha's mid-drive delivers a remarkably torquey and natural-feeling assist. It boasts 105 Newton-meters of torque, and testers found it climbs steep hills with surprising ease. Even starting from a dead stop on an incline, the Alpha can surge up without bogging down. Because it runs through an 8-speed Shimano Altus drivetrain, the Alpha lets you downshift for more power on hills or upshift to gain speed on flats, making the most of its motor output. The torque sensor on the Alpha is finely tuned. As you press on the pedals, the power comes on smoothly and proportionally, avoiding the jarring on-off blast that many hub-driven bikes exhibit. Riders consistently praise how connected and in control the Alpha feels. It's an e-bike that urges you to pedal along, rewarding your effort with seamless assistance. By contrast, the Ranger S's rear hub motor delivers a more brute force style of power. With a peak output around 1800 watts, it can rocket the bike forward with just a twist of the throttle. There's also a torque sensor in the Ranger S. unusual for hub motor bikes at this price. Its pedal assist is actually quite responsive and smooth as well. From a stop or low speed, simply pedaling lightly will immediately engage the motor, almost too eagerly, as the bike will jump ahead the moment you put pressure on the pedals. This means both bikes avoid latency and lurching that older cadence sensor e-bikes had. However, the character of their power delivery differs. The Ranger S feels more like a mini moped with pedal assist, ready to zoom with minimal rider input, whereas the Alpha's assist feels more organic, like an extension of your pedaling. Both models include a half-twist throttle, but the experience here is markedly different. The Ranger S's hub motor can engage the throttle from a standstill, just twist and go, unleashing all 1000 watts to sprint off the line. I love the immediate rush. The combination of a powerful motor and no need to pedal makes the Ranger S almost scooter-like in traffic. It effortlessly zips up to its governed speed with throttle alone, which is great for quick getaways or giving your legs a break. In fact, the throttle is so potent that it's smooth yet forceful, rocketing the bike up to speed without strain. The Alpha, on the other hand, has a natural pedal start safety feature. Its throttle will not engage from a dead stop. You must start pedaling for about a half rotation before the throttle becomes active. This design is intentional. It protects the drivetrain from shock and prevents accidental launches due to the Alpha's high torque mid-drive. It means you can't rely on the Alpha like a pure scooter at a stoplight. You need to get it rolling with your feet first. Once moving, the throttle works, but even then the Alpha's throttle output is relatively gentle. I've noticed the Alpha's throttle won't hold a steady 20 miles per hour on its own. It tends to top out a bit lower unless you also pedal. Essentially, Heybike tuned the Alpha for pedal assist performance, and the throttle is more for occasional use. Some experienced e-bikers may find this throttle behavior underwhelming, but others appreciate the added control. It's almost impossible to accidentally do a wheelie or burnout on the Alpha. It's tame until you intentionally pedal hard. Despite the Alpha's lower nominal power, its torque advantage, and mid-drive gearing even the playing field in many scenarios. In real-world hill climb tests, the Alpha impressed me by conquering steep inclines without hesitation. The ability to drop into a low gear means the 500-watt motor can multiply its torque effectively. You feel it dig in and pull the bike up slopes that might stall a hub motor of similar power. The Ranger S, packing 1000 watts, also handles hills very well, especially with pedal assist. Even on daunting hills, the Ranger S powered up using pedal assist with ease. If you rely on throttle only, the Ranger's brute force will carry you up moderate hills, but on the steepest grades, a bit of pedaling or a running start helps due to the bike's weight. Both bikes benefit from that torque sensor when climbing. As you push harder on the pedals, they automatically feed in more motor power. Still, on the most extreme hills, the Alpha's mid-drive advantage shows it simply has more gear multiplication available. In everyday riding, both bikes are excellent hill climbers for their class, but the Alpha edges ahead if your route is nothing but hills. Both the Alpha and Ranger S are classified as Class 3 e-bikes, capable of assist up to 28 miles per hour. In practice, the Ranger S 1000 has a slight speed advantage. With its powerful motor, the Ranger S easily hits the high 20s and even low 30s on flat ground under throttle plus pedal. The Ranger S accelerates to its limit quickly and can sustain high speeds with ease. The Alpha's top speed is similarly set at 28 miles per hour, but real-world testing indicate hitting that number requires some leg effort. With the motor assist alone, either throttle or in highest pedal assist, the Alpha tends to cap out closer to approximately 25 miles per hour in flat real-world riding. To nudge it to 28, a strong pedaler or a slight downhill is helpful. Part of this is due to gearing. Even though the Alpha has 8 speeds, its top gear still forces a pretty high pedal cadence at 28 miles per hour, and some riders might spin out, pedal with no resistance, before they get there. The Ranger S, interestingly, has an opposite limitation. Despite having only a 7-speed drivetrain, its motor power is so high that pedaling at top speed becomes optional. Essentially, above 20 miles per hour, the Ranger S turns into an e-moto. You'll likely just use throttle or coast, because pedaling faster is impractical with the stock gearing. The Alpha, with its mid-drive, encourages you to keep pedaling at all speeds, but you may need very quick leg spins to contribute at the top end. Both bikes allow customizing the speed limit via a companion smartphone app, so an owner can lower the max speed if needed. The Alpha and Ranger S carry batteries of nearly the same size, about 680 watt-hours for the Alpha and 692 watt-hours for the Ranger S. On paper, Heybike claims 60 miles of range for the Alpha and 55 miles for the Ranger on a single charge. These figures assume ideal conditions, light assist levels, flat terrain, a light rider pedaling consistently. In the real world, I found the usable range to be considerably lower, as is typical for e-bikes, especially if you make liberal use of the throttle or highest assist. I managed 39 miles on the Ranger S using pedal assist level 2 over mixed terrain with some hills. This is a strong result, indicating that mid-40s mileage is achievable with moderate assist and active pedaling. However, many owners report that if you ride the Ranger S in higher power modes or rely on the throttle at high speeds, you should expect around 25 miles per charge from the 692 watt-hour pack. The Alpha, thanks to its efficient mid-drive, can also reach into the 40s of miles on low assist, but similarly, in real-world riding, mix of throttle bursts, hills, and middle assist levels, a more typical range is roughly 30 miles on a full charge. The key point, neither bike has an advantage in raw battery capacity or range. They're almost neck and neck, and both will comfortably handle a long recreational ride or a decent commute. The Alpha might eke out a bit more range per watt-hour when using pedal assist intelligently. Mid-drives are generally more efficient if you shift gears wisely, but the difference is minor. Both the Alpha and the Ranger S are fat tire bikes with front suspension forks, which equips them to smooth out rough roads and light off-road terrain. The Ranger S uses a suspension fork with hydraulic lockout, and combined with its 20-inch by 4-inch tires, it does a commendable job soaking up bumps. The smaller wheel diameter means it can still jolt a bit on very large obstacles, so the Ranger isn't meant for hardcore downhill mountain biking. In other words, it's fine for gentle trails, dirt paths, grass, and gravel, but it can get out of its element on rocky or technical terrain. The Alpha, with its 26-inch by 4-inch tires and similar front suspension, offers a bit more capability on rough ground. The larger tires roll over obstacles more easily, and the bike's longer wheelbase adds stability on loose surfaces. In my testing, the Alpha confidently handled grass, dirt trails, and potholed suburban streets. The front fork travel on the Alpha is decent for an all-terrain cruiser, but they are quite stiff out of the box. This means lighter riders might not get the full plushness from the suspension and could feel vibrations and rumbles trails. It's a reminder that while these bikes have suspension, they are not full suspension mountain bikes. Both bikes' fat tires can be run at lower PSY to further cushion the ride. On pavement, keeping the tires around 20 pounds per square inch strikes a good balance between comfort and rolling resistance. Cornering and traction on both are very good thanks to the huge tire contact patch. I feel secure even on wet or sandy patches. The Alpha and Ranger S differ in their gearing setups, which ties into their motor designs. The Heybike Alpha is equipped with a Shimano 8-speed Altus gear system. This is a mid-tier mountain bike style drivetrain, offering smooth shifting and enough range to tackle both steep climbs and faster flats. Having 8 speeds is particularly useful for the mid-drive Alpha. You can always find the right gear to keep the motor in its sweet spot. Shifting on the Alpha is generally smooth, but there is a learning curve. Because it's a mid-drive, you should ease off the power when shifting to avoid strain on the chain. If you try to shift gears under full throttle or hard pedaling, you'll hear the chain complain as the torquey motor continues to pull during the shift. The Alpha's manual recommends a technique: briefly pause pedaling or feather the throttle when clicking to another gear. Seasoned riders got used to this, and once mastered, the shifts are crisp and the drivetrain will last longer. The Ranger S uses a simpler Shimano 7-speed setup. With a hub motor, the gears only affect pedaling, not the motor directly. 7 speeds are enough for basic cruising. However, as mentioned, the top gear is geared fairly low, leading to ghost pedaling at high speed. On the flip side, the lowest gear on the Ranger S is adequate for pedaling up steep hills if the motor is off, or to complement the motor if needed. Shifts on the Ranger are less critical. You can even ignore them and ride in one gear if you want, since the motor doesn't care. It does the job, but lacks the refinement of the Alpha's Altus. If you're an experienced cyclist, you'll appreciate the Alpha's wider gear range and the feeling of control it provides. If you're not big on shifting, the Ranger's approach of set it and forget it, often staying in a middle gear and letting the motor do the work, might appeal more. Both models come with a suite of integrated safety lights. The headlight is bright and has an automatic on-off feature. It can turn on in low light conditions. I found the headlights plenty bright for suburban riding at night and adequate for cautious riding on a dark trail, though for faster off-road night riding, additional lighting would be wise. The tail light doubles as a brake light, flashing or brightening when you brake. A great feature for alerting traffic behind you. Additionally, turn signals are integrated into the tail sections of both bikes. Riders can indicate turns with the press of a button on the control pad, and the signals are fairly visible. Still, having built-in turn signals is especially useful at night or when hand signaling is difficult. The Ranger S also comes with an electronic horn, which is handy in city environments to alert pedestrians, but not enough for cars to hear you, so it may be unique to the Ranger or just not highlighted on the Alpha. The Alpha's display is bright and easy to read even in sunlight. It shows all your pertinent info, speed, battery, odometer, assist level, in a nice layout, and even includes a USB port for charging your phone. The Ranger S's display likewise shows the basics and can connect to the Heybike smartphone app via Bluetooth. Through the app, riders of both bikes can track ride data, adjust certain settings, and even run diagnostics or error checking. The app isn't strictly necessary, but it's a neat addition for tech-savvy riders who want to customize their ride. Heybike provides a 2-year warranty on both the Alpha and Ranger, which is double what many competitors offer. This speaks to the company's confidence in the bike's reliability. The frames, motors, and batteries are all covered, which should alleviate concerns about potential early failures. In terms of overall reliability, both bikes are holding up well under my end ride use case. The mid-drive on the Alpha is made by MyVice, a reputable motor manufacturer, and is noted for its precision and quality. The hub motor on the Ranger S is a tried and true design that hasn't shown unusual failure rates. It's worth mentioning that Heybike as a brand gets mixed reviews on customer service in forums. While many have had good experiences, a few have had delays or issues. However, those seem to be exceptions, and the vast majority of Alpha and Ranger S owners are enjoying trouble-free rides, yours truly included. The UL 2849 safety certification on the electronics adds another layer of confidence. It ensures the bike's electrical systems have been independently tested for safe operation. The Heybike Alpha and Heybike Ranger S ultimately cater to slightly different riders, even as they share many features. The Alpha is the choice for those who value a natural pedaling experience and refined control. Its mid-drive motor with torque sensor gives it a fluid power delivery and mountain goat climbing ability, making it a joy for riders who want to pedal along and feel the bike respond intuitively. It shines on mixed terrain and open trails, where its bigger wheels and stable frame conquer the bumps and hills with aplomb. The trade-offs are a less thrilling throttle and a bike that's big and heavy to transport, but for many, the ride quality and smoothness more than compensate. The Ranger S, on the other hand, is like an electrified workhorse with a wild side. It folds up to fit your car or apartment, then unleashes a burst of 1000 watts of power when you hit the throttle, zipping you around town or up that steep hill without breaking a sweat. It offers a very accessible, fun experience. Anyone can hop on and feel the rush of speed and the comfort of its forgiving fat tires. In real-world use, it proves itself capable on everything from daily commutes to weekend beach cruises, and it packs enough battery to push the adventures longer. Yes, it's heavy, and yes, the purists might say the Alpha's mid-drive is more elegant, but the Ranger S's smooth yet muscular performance has won over riders who just want to hop on and go, no finesse needed.